Today I'm here to talk one important thing, and this is about salary in the United States. What is your salary after all the deductions, especially the taxes, if we can say that way? That means this will help you to understand how much can you be able to save. We all know that there are so many, after deduction you get your salary, which you call take home. There are other expenses. So many people usually come and talk about saving and everything, but we forget to talk about deductions, which are supposed to be taken directly before the money comes to your bank account. Welcome everyone, my name is Ernest Boniface Makulilo, and today I welcome you to my YouTube channel for this important information because it's related to many people here in America or even in other countries. Whatever country you are, you might have your own deductions. So the point is, no matter where you live on this planet Earth, you'll be given the salary, and out of your salary there are specific deductions which you must pay, and then you have the take home. From the take home, that means you can go and start doing your normal life, like where you are going to rent or build a house, doing some, if you have a loan for the car, or you have any other credit you have to pay, or you have to pay for your food, school for your kids, and so forth and so forth. So for that case, I'm having a very good example here. And this example is a live example about, I'm giving just one case for someone who is making certain amount of money, let's say 60, 65 or 70,000 US dollar here in the US. And what are the deductions someone is going to pay? Because sometimes you might think, oh, someone is in America, has a lot of money, and someone will say, oh, I don't have money, will say, oh, why this person doesn't have money? He has a good job or something like that. So this one is going to break you down so that you can understand wherever you get a job, you know, and especially for immigrants, when you go there, they tell you this is your salary, or is it 75,000, is 80,000, you are excited, but how much in the end is going to your bank account as your take home? So that's, you need to understand it that way. So there are so many taxes, and even if, for instance, you are international student, if you are in H1B, these taxes you have to pay. It depends, citizen versus someone with H1B, there are small differences in terms of taxes, but there are certain type of taxes which will be there. So as you can see here as an example, so this one they say hours, here they say it is 80 hours. It means is 2 weeks pay. In the US, you get paid after every 2 weeks. So in a year, we have 52 weeks. Whatever, I mean, we get paid 26 times. 26 times we call pay periods. So depending, like, I don't know, there are some, I've never been paid on daily basis or on monthly basis. I just get all on every other, whatever, every 2 weeks, that's what I get paid. So 1 week I work 40 hours, so for 2 weeks you get 80 hours. So this is an example of how much someone can be able to get in so this is one paycheck, 2 weeks. So that means if it's a month, like let's say we are giving example, it will be 2 times 2. So I'll give some of the numbers here, and you can be able to see some of the examples. So for instance, there are different categories of deductions. I will talk a little bit about taxes, what types of taxes are there. Then there are some of the benefits which you have to pay for. Then there is retirement, there is other amount, and then you are going to have the take home amount at the end of it. So let me start. And that means you'll see the take home is the green one, the red one or pink is it is the taxes, then it benefits, and then you have retirement, and then we have the other, which I'll explain in a little bit. So let us start with the taxes in general. So in the taxes, there are taxes which are depending on where you are. And there are taxes which it doesn't matter where you are, as long as you're in America, there are four main taxes you have to pay. Number one, you have to pay the federal income tax. Then you have to pay social security tax. Then you have to pay Medicare tax. Then you have to pay the state tax. I live in Missouri, but let me give you an example. This is my example on my case. So if I live in Missouri, but I work in Kansas City, outside of the Kansas City, so there is state tax. But for my case, I live just 25 miles from downtown. So if it's 25 miles from downtown, there is a certain type of tax, specifically some people in Kansas, if you live outside of certain type of the zone and you work around downtown, you have to pay extra tax. So that is called Kansas City income tax. So apart from the state tax, then there is a local specific tax on this particular example. Not all they have the same or similar example. So in a very simple way, what is the Social Security? Social Security is the, everyone here in America is supposed to pay the Social Security. As long as you work here, that is deducted directly. And this one is going to serve as a provision for your pension after retirement. So whether you are American citizen, whether you are not, you have to pay this one. Whether you will be here at the time of retirement or not here, you have to pay this amount. Yes, there is amount of Social Security is going to be paid by employer, and some is about from yourself. So this, I'm talking about the deduction which you have to pay for yourself. Obviously, there is we have the federal income tax, which is the bigger one, which whether you are foreign, whether you are student, international student, whatever you are, as long as you get income, you have to pay the federal tax. So this is going to be taxed on all your income you have earned here. And if you are American citizen and or even a green card holder and you have income here and income outside America, both are your income, you have to go and also put that one. So, and this, it depends. Most likely it will be on the 25 up to 28% is of your income is going to be taxed. And then there is the Medicare, which you have to pay. This is also the healthcare system, which you'll be able to get healthcare, which you get after retirement, and is paid on the basis like kind of that. Then the employer has to pay a certain amount and also have to pay an amount. And then there's a state tax, and then there is a city tax or local tax depending on where you are. Some they have, some they don't have. If I were, on my case, if I had to live in downtown, for instance, or a certain area nearby the city, out of the city, inside the city limit, I could not pay this one. So for instance, if not mistaken, for Kansas, for me, for the Kansas City, just that the city tax, whatever, per pay period, every 2 weeks I pay almost like $21 for that amount of for each time. So per month I pay like $40 to $42 around that one. So I'll give the estimates like how this one yeah, so I'll go from there. So for instance, can I give you an example on my case? So this income tax, these kind of taxes like state tax, whatever, they vary from one person to a person, and it depends on so many factors. It depends on what you're going to feel on the W-2, like when you're going to feel like the deduction you're going to feel. And if you talk to the tax or human resources, they will explain to you. So for instance, for me, my tax will be different from you. Number one, the number of dependents you have, married, with the kids. If you are going to include your kids, obviously there are certain way, and then again it will depend also the how much they're going to take from one income to another. Someone maybe less than 75. If you're above 100,000, and if you work overseas, whether you work here. So there are so many things around there. So I cannot give pinpoint like how much you're going to pay, but it depends from person to person. But as I said, a certain kind of percentage. So for instance, for my cases, just the taxes alone, all the taxes I'm paying, all of the taxes, every 2 weeks, that means every 8 hours I work, I pay almost $300 for my case. So per month, or for 4 weeks, I pay almost like 600. This is my case. So it depends, like you see, like, so how much money you get per month. So you might say like maybe I get 3,000 per month, I mean per 2 weeks. Then if it's 3,000, they are going to remove just the taxes alone, for my case, per month, I mean, in 2 weeks, let's say they're going to remove 300 just for taxes. So that is going to include all those the things I've been able to explain. Then these are benefits. Yes, there are benefits which you pay and the employer is going to match, but this is the contribution you pay on your own. Dental is very small amount you pay as contribution, but when you go to the dentist, it's expensive what you are going to pay from your pocket. The medical insurance, you pay a lot at the beginning, unless others you choose something different. There are different categories you are going to choose. For me, I choose to pay more on the medical right now. So say this deduction is taken out of before the taxes. This is taken before the taxes too. This healthcare FSA, this is something else if you want. For me, I usually take it. So what is happening, the FSA, because you can take opportunity, you can be contributing a certain amount, like up to 2,000, whatever, or 1,500, I don't remember exactly. So that means they give you a card with already with a wherever there is money there for medical expenses, kind of that. Advantage of using that one, you don't need to pay tax later. Like if you use your take-home money to go to the medical, already they have taken the tax, but this is another advantage for tax situation. So the dental for me, I pay for the entire family is very, very small. Not less than, is less than $15. Around $15, 12, 15, whatever dollar. That's what I pay. But for the medical, because I mean, like I pay for myself, my wife, and the 3 kids. So that $15, I mean, is for 2 weeks. So for per month, I pay like $30. For medical, which is taking a lot for me, medical alone, for instance, the medical alone, I pay like $350 per 2 weeks. So per month, I pay over $750 per month. That is what I pay just for the medical. So you see, so this on the taxes, then it comes with these benefits. So you see, like the 14% is coming from that way. Then in retirement, there is depending if you are working for non-profit, there is 401k, whatever, 401b, whatever, 403, whatever b. So there are certain the contribution, you pay certain amount and the employer is paying certain amount. So it's up to you how much you are going to contribute. There is a maximum number you are going to contribute, or you cannot contribute. In other countries, we call National Social Security Fund. You pay maybe 10% and the employer pay 10%, they match. So that is kind of like what you are going to do a matching. For me, I pay like each pay period, I pay like 100 to 150. So that is like, so per month, I pay like 300 towards my retirement. Then, for instance, then there are other. So other is depending. So for me, so if you have taken on the retirement, you take the loan, you can pay for the loan. If you have 10 loans, you can put the loan there. If you don't, whatever. So that is something like kind of like, so there is a vision and other things. And then what is remaining is take home. So I want to give you just like a little bit like what for someone like me. Or I mean, like for myself, I'm not going to say how much I make, but for me alone, per month, like if I take all my deductions, I pay between 1,600 to 2,000. Those are the deductions which they cover almost all these kind of items which I've been able to explain here. So so all these are the deduction which I'm talking about. So this is the match of the benefits, like amount you pay, and then the employer is going to add on that, whatever, all those kind of things. So these are the deductions. Like, so the remaining one is this one is 62%. So you can find like almost 38% of your income is going under deductions. So there are certain countries, they might have more than 38%. There are some countries I know, but so it depends. Like if you have a student loan, if you have whatever. So there are so many deductions which they come directly from your paycheck before you go and even start to take your take home to start using that income. For instance, in some of the countries, in developing countries, they can start directly right away. they can take the, if you have a student loan, they take that from there, from your paycheck direct, before any other thing. So the take home is what you are going to have. So how much you are going to have. So just assume, for my case, for instance, each month, if I take per month, like if it will be 160 days, I mean 160 hours instead of 8 hours too. So I'm getting the deduction almost 2,000. So if you take the 2,000 is over, for Tanzanian shillings, that is over 4 million, 4.5 whatever, kind of that. So that's a lot of money, just deduction. So you end up to have a very small piece of remaining amount. So that one, then from there, that's when you come, you see most American lack sufficient saving. Why American lack sufficient saving is because of these kind of things. There are so many, so these are the things they are explaining. There is high cost of living, rent, food, utilities, low salary. There are debts you have, no budget, non-essential item you have to do luxury, whatever, no saving. So there are so many things like which they make a problem for many people while we are here in America or even in any other country. These are the problem. The low salary is not a problem of America or Britain or whatever. Every country, Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, that is a problem. High cost of living, almost everywhere there is high cost of living, especially during the holiday. There are so many things you have to do. You have to purchase certain things for your children. There is a birthday. When they give you the salary, if you don't budget for, there is a birthday for your 2 kids, there is a birthday for your spouse, there is graduation, there is a child is going to be born at the end of the year, you'll be in so much trouble. So this is what I was trying to explain, that before, and especially if you want to come to America and you want to understand a little bit how much you can be able to save, just first of all you have to understand how much are they taking from your paycheck. Yes, there's a certain amount of money you'll get at the end, like a social security. For instance, like there are certain things like social security you get, Medicare, there are certain you can get at the end when you retire, like retirement, you have retirement here, you can go and get it later. But I'm talking like right now, how are you going to save? You are down for your income. Like if you are supposed to get paid, let's say your salary is, let's say per month is like how much? Let's say your salary is 5,000 per month, and already so if your salary is already let's say 5,000 and 38% already is taken out, so in that case you're going to end to have a very small amount of money, because almost 2,000, 1,900, 1,700, whatever is taken out. So from 5,000, like, oh, my salary, I get gross is 5,000. If you convert in your head for Tanzanian or Kenyan shillings or whatever money you are using in your country, you see there's a lot of money. But in the end, what comes down to it, they are taking almost 40%, 38, 40%. You remain with 60%. How are you going to survive with a 60%? So that is something you need to understand to make a budget if you want to save the money. Otherwise, you will be in this kind of group, like a majority of people, we cannot survive because there are all these kind of cost of living and other things. They are going to be there. On top of that, we have already paid all these kind of deductions. So that is something I want to share with you today about how you can be able to manage your money, but know exactly how much you make and know exactly what deductions each cent is going where and for what type of purpose, so that you can be able to make a very reasonable decision. So thank you so much, everyone, and goodbye. All the best in your saving and income generating ways.